there is also authority and endorsement of this abominable and atrocious act of suicide terrorism, even inside the United Kingdom. We have witnessed over the years the endorsement in some part of the United Kingdom, likewise involvement of the female terrorists. They have also become increasingly more commonplace, and of course, they have to debate it amongst terrorism perpetrators. It has even extended to whether biological or radiological weapons are viable in fighting the jihad. It is very, very imperative for Biafrans as a spokesperson of Biafra for me to draw lines from this historic event. Al-Qaeda and its affiliates are expert in taking advantage of local conflict. These terrorists are very, very expert in taking advantage of the conflict, local conflict, and grievances, and adopting their ideology to local circumstances. And this is exactly what the Nigeria state is doing today. When the terrorists attack and kill our people in their villages, advantage of local conflict. It is herders, farmers, clashes. If the world can understand how the terrorists, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, and its affiliate take advantage of communal clashes, conflict, grievances between communities, and using it as an advantage to tell you herders, farmers, clashes, which has been the narrative for many years of conquest in Nigeria. That will tell you that Nigeria government is directly involved in the sponsoring of terrorism. Because the narrative they try to tell you is to use the advantage of the clashes between ethnic groups. And of course, this advantage they have used very well. But today, Biafra has destroyed that narrative. It is no longer sellable. The next question I want to ask: does the Southeast governors are aware that Nigeria has met all the characteristics? The Nigeria federal government, controlled by Fulani, has made all the characteristics of a government that sponsors terrorism, including sponsoring the conquest of their own people by the fact that they take advantage of grievances, local conflict, and adopting this ideology to local circumstances. If they don't know this before today, please inform them that Nigeria government, by inactions, have met every requirement to be tagged as a terrorist state. Today, we want to also inform Biafrans that to fight terrorism, we must therefore understand the pervasiveness of the so-called Islamic ideology, stand to and adopt to reverse the radicalization in the main Islamic discourse. The world and its communities have bear us witness on our civil approach to this Biafra liberation. the crisis in Biafra land, the planned annihilation of our people, the ethnic cleansing which the governors of the Southeast have directly participated and aided the Nigeria government in quest to maintain their status quo. We therefore, again today, redeclaring, we cannot stand idle and watch the total extermination of our people by the Fulani Federal of Nigeria, either directly or using the governors of the Southeast. I want to also commend at this juncture alliances that we have had so far. I want to commend especially General in his speech today, the 30th of October, 2022. I want to commend General Oji for not falling into the trap of the enemies. I want to commend him the way he dribbled the enemy. I want to tell General Oji that I watched him very well and very closely as he responded to questions from a Fulani journalist asking about alliances with Simon Ekpa. I want to make it very clear, nobody goes into alliance with Simon Ekpa as a person, as an individual. What we have tried to do and what we have done is to prove the enemies wrong, that the Biafra liberation and the Biafra restoration is not a place that divide and rule will work again. We have defeated them. We want to inform them that now we can work in unity. We want to inform the Fulani cabals and the Southerners that the days of the divide and conquer is over. And the main reason why we bring every group together, almost every group together, is to show our preparedness for Biafra and to make sure that our strength is in. So General Oji, the way you responded to the question of the journalist, I do not know whether that is a journalist, that is somebody from somewhere, I do not know. But the question he persistently asked about Simon Ekpa giving you money and making promises and all that, I want to commend you for you defeated the enemy, and our alliances or collaboration or whatever you see fit how to address it is still very intact. The promise we made in our alliance meetings or our collaboration meetings or our unison meetings is still intact. And we are working on it, and it remains like that. And make this broadcast today without commending the way you handled whoever that journalist is. And I will also recommend that you may never wish to invite such journalists into your broadcast, because the questions he asked revealed a lot. And if he is part of you, you may also need to reconsider revealing things that are not to be revealed to such journalists. Everything General Oji said on the video, firm it is true. There is nothing to subtract and not to add. The alliance between the Biafra National Guard happened in August. And of course, we are just in October, August, September, 1 month interval. We are just in October. And you do not expect a lot to start happening just like that. We are all struggling to make sure that we provide whatever that is needed for Biafra liberation. For that reason, the Biafra National Guard is the army Biafra, and they have been in existence before we go into the unification to make sure that we are fighting in one cause. I want to inform those who may have been disappointed with the way General Oji responded today is that the most important is we are all fighting for Biafra and each other, and we respect each other's values and qualities. It is no longer like before, where you will be calling General Oji a criminal. It is no longer like before, where the IPOB members will be calling General Oji a betrayer. It is no longer like before. Like the police asked him, where they will brand him as somebody who worked with DSS. That we have been able to defeat. Nobody will call General Oji, not from our own side, a betrayer. There is no reason for that. But this has been the mechanism that the Fulani have used to destroy the Biafra struggle for many years. They made you understand that every other group that is fighting for Biafra are not genuine. They make you understand that BNL are not genuine. Today we have united with the BNL and they are doing a great job. They make us understand that Sabot are not genuine. Today we have been able to unite with Sabot and they are doing a great job. They make you understand that many groups in the Riverine area are not genuine. Today we have united with them and they are doing great jobs in their different zones. These are things we have been able to achieve. We may not have billions of dollars to give to every alliance to be able to purchase whatever necessary equipment that is needed, but we have been able to set a standard that will lead us to greatness. And that particular achievement will remain like that until we begin to do the things that are needed. So I commend you, General Oji, for the maturity you displayed. And I want to tell you today that our discussion, the promises, and everything is still intact. To that, we are going to make sure that we better from today going forward. The Southeast governors today have shown and demonstrated that they are the worst enemy of Biafra people. And this State of the Nation broadcast is primarily targeted at addressing them. Today we have read from the nation's newspaper that the Southeast governors recommend political solution for our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. This is completely unacceptable in the South. We waited for the Southeast governors to give at least statement on the court ruling, which exonerated Nnamdi Kanu, discharged and acquitted him on the 13th of August. The Southeast governors did not react to this particular court ruling. They neither did not compel or ask the Nigeria Fulani terrorist government to follow the court order, at least without them heeding to their advice. Today, from the nation's newspaper, we can say that the South governors on Sunday expressed their belief in using political solution to free our leader, Nnamdi Kanu. When the court gave a statement and passed a ruling that Nnamdi Kanu will be discharged and acquitted, and the Southeast governors did not make any statement to that effect. We want to inform today and inform Biafrans today that this attitude displayed by the governors of the Southeast today has directly indicted all of them, and they are in the kidnap of Nnamdi Kanu from Kenya. When the court passed a judgment, they refused to compel the federal government to respect their own law. And they worked on to change the judges, and today elephant can fly in Nigeria. And that is when the governors of the Southeast summon the courage and have the impetus to come out publicly and disgrace themselves by calling for political solution. When a competent court in your own country have released and discharged Nnamdi Kanu, today we declare the governors enemies of Biafra. And because it is the Biafra people that voted them to power, we are going to take away from them before the election. Our period of mercy has elapsed. The disappointment coming from the resolution of the Southeast Governors Forum today is the highest knife stabbed on the chest of Biafrans. And we are going to give them from today. We have done everything that needed to be done to ensure the security of lives and properties in the wider Nigeria. But today, the governors of the Southeast part of Biafra collaborating with our enemies, and they could not even voice out in defense of their own court that the federal government of Nigeria, controlled by terrorists, cannot obey their own court order only when they have done the kangaroo judgment and the elephant can fly, and now elephant is flying. Only then there's someone courage to have a meeting. I remember that a few days ago, I was addressing the Southeast governors where I made mention that they haven't converged for a meeting for a long time. And I believe that this shenanigans meeting that you see having today is coming from the fact that I have reminded them that they have not had a meeting for a very long time since the kidnap of Nnamdi Kanu. Because they follow us every day. We are watching them as well as they're watching us. After they have demonstrated they have no remorse about the direct involvement of the waste of life and destruction of property by the invaders, Fulani terrorists, and the Nigeria government in army uniform and the DSS uniform. Since the Nigeria government has chosen the invaders and terrorists from the northeast part of Africa over their own said citizens, we have no option but to defend our land with everything we have. I want to also make this declaration here that everything General Orji said today, we the Biafra people endorse it. Every declaration that is coming from General Orji today on Biafra restoration and declaration, we endorse it, as it is the same goal that we have and it is the same thing we are doing. We endorse it, and we are going to endorse it again and again and again. In addition to the declaration of General Orji, I want to also make very clear the following. We can all remember from the Nigerian newspaper Tribune report of the 16th of August 2022, where General Dambazu said, and quote, the army forces with a population of about 200,000 have the deficit to confront the terrorists as they have been overstretched. It is to review our counter-terrorism strategy to eliminate these state actors, as security should be the top agenda as we gradually approach the 2023 general election. I want to inform Biafrans that by every ramification and every information available to us, Nigeria army cannot defeat in battle. They have no capacity. They may have the military jet, they may have the military helicopter, the gunboat, and what have you. Let me tell you today, Nigeria army and security agencies are divided never before. The division in them is worse than what is happening in an assembly. And we know that very well. Apart from the division, every single person that is from the southern part and the middle belt of Nigeria, serving in Nigeria army today, are doing that and waiting for the time the whistle will blow. The example of it is the former spokesperson of the Nigeria army, the name of General Nnamdi, who after about the killing of Lake Togate, he came back to apologize that he had to lie, which means he himself was also taking a second option while he was serving as the spokesperson of Nigeria army. Had it been that somebody like General Nnamdi was still serving in the Nigeria army until the liberation of Biafra, that you think he is going to abandon his middle belt and fight for Nigeria? He will never do that. I just want to give you an example. But you know of Nnamdi serving in Nigeria army today, lying and displeasing their people. And when they go back homes, they sleep on their bed and they cry. They cry to their families. They cry with their wives. They come out and smile, waiting for who is that perpetual bondage. Haven't come publicly to make the terrorists into the highway or in Biafra land, where people are being kidnapped just 2 kilometers and 200 meters away from the military checkpoint. I do not understand what the Southeast by saying they want to deploy more security patrol on the highway. Does it mean that they want to increase the kidnapping? Does it mean that they want to make sure that every Biafra is killed? Does it mean they want to make sure, have they gone into agreement to annihilate our people before 2023? We want to inform them that from tonight, anyway, we see the state actors which have directly involved in kidnapping our people, and the Fulani have abducted them. From all evidence, fact available to everybody, both those that we have on wiretape, those we have on the video, both the testimony from victims and all that, the every point and finger is pointing at the military collaboration with the bandit and the terrorists who have invaded our land. They give them cover. They also share the ransom with them. For that reason, we don't want to see any military patrol in Biafra road from today. There will be no military and military patrol anywhere. It is a counter order to the governors of the Southeast. And the non-state actors, headsmen, collaborating with the army to carry AK-47 and the terrorists from the Sahel to kill our people. Anywhere we see them in our forests, we are going to confront them. So as the governor is making arrangement to deploy more kidnappers to our road, we are telling them this night that we are going to start confronting them face to face. And it is going to be the part of liberating Biafra. From tonight, we are going to continue to maintain the enforcement on open grazing in Biafra land. Any cow you see anywhere destroying our crops and they carry AK-47, bring them down. As simple as that. It does not matter. Once you see them, confront them. In order to safeguard our people, our women and children from the incessant kidnapping by the terrorists in collaboration with Nigeria Army and Police, the evidences are there. The security of Biafra have taken it upon themselves to confront any Nigeria Army uniform anywhere in Biafra land from tonight. To show our readiness to break away from a terrorist country, from Nigeria by 2023. From tonight, we are declaring that every military, police, and custom checkpoint in Biafra land from tonight will be a target. Nobody will be allowed to be using Nigeria uniform to cover the kidnapping of Biafra people. The evidences that we have so far have proven that the military checkpoint, custom police checkpoint in Biafra land are used by the terrorists. Because every kidnapping happening in Nsukka from Enugu to Onitsha to Owerri to all these places are happening just by the military checkpoint. So for that reason, we don't want to see them again. If we see you on checkpoint, you are a terrorist. Until you tell us how come you are 2 kilometers away from your checkpoint and Fulani are stopping our people with a sporadic gunshot and kidnap them inside forest, and you are there and you don't confront them. From most of the indication, most of the intelligence gathered so far is that even after they kidnap these people, they share the ransom. So we are making it very clear today. If we see you anywhere, any checkpoint, you are a terrorist and you'll be treated as such. The use of siren, again, is still in force. It has been banned in Biafra land. This will continue until next year when we will successfully stop Nigeria from conducting election in Biafra territory. The oppression of the terrorist group called the Bubago, and of course their counterpart, the RVG or whatever they are called, these activities of these terrorists who are not even Biafrans in the first place remain banned. And I will tell you today that we are very, very serious. Due to the high level of insecurity in Biafra land today, which the Biafra, the governors themselves have demonstrated to be behind this insecurity for the reason best known to them. It exposes the life of our people to danger when gathered more than 10 persons. And of course, for that reason, we therefore ban again every political gathering in Biafra land, every campaign, every governmental public outreach in Biafra land is hereby suspended. The same way the America are calling on their citizens in Abuja to evacuate, giving them security warning and concern, is the same way the Biafra people who have come today to give security concern to every gathering in Biafra land by making sure that every political gathering is hereby banned, to make sure we preserve your life and protect you till further notice. We also want to call on Biafra people to continue to get ready for next year. Probably you have to start stockpiling food for 2 weeks. The food that will take you for 2 weeks, you and your family. If you do not have food, you back now and talking to people so that they can help you to stockpile food for at least weeks. When the time comes that we order you to sit at home for 2 weeks, you will be able to sit at home and you have food that you and your family can eat. This is the small price you are going to pay for your freedom. A lot of people, for example, in different places where crises are happening today, they have been on it for many years. I want to tell you that if you want freedom, prepare for war. In a few weeks or days, I wouldn't say in few, because the Biafran flag from our activities ought to have been hoisted in the entire territory of Biafra. You will be expecting it any moment from now. And when that happens, we are going to have again the State of the Nation address to address you and continue to show you step by step on what we are going to do to get Biafra. I want to inform Biafrans today that we are just in 126 days to Biafra. Very, very important. Why people are mocking us for having a countdown on Biafra, we are very, very focused. Finally, I want to inform all of you that those who say we're going to sleep, they must be ready to stay awake. I want to commend commander of the Eastern Security Network in the entire Biafra land. I want to say thank you for the job well done in making sure, even with all the attack you receive from left and right, we have been able to curtail the activities of the Fulani terrorists, and they're now focused on kidnapping the road with the Nigeria, in the collaboration of the Nigeria Army and Police. I can tell you today that we have been able to defeat them in our various farms and the villages and those places where the military have showed their power and the strength. They are now cutting our people with knives and machete. We are going to assure Biafrans today that very, very soon, very, very, very soon, the story will change. I want to commend you all who have been working around the clock and underground to give intels as they come. I want to commend those who are working genuinely, especially in the elect team, who are working genuinely for the freedom of Nnamdi Kanu. And for the very first time, I want to commend Barrister Aloy Jimako and his group. The more days and the more weeks, the more we go forward in this struggle, the more many things are opening up. And of course, everything is step by step. There are different and many informations that will continue. I want to commend them and commend them for the job they have done so far. And then commend every person, legal team, who are genuinely with their heart fighting for the release of Nnamdi Kanu. We do not believe in Nigeria judiciary. Nigeria judiciary is dead. And for those who mocked us when we said the Nigeria judiciary is dead, I hope you can mock us again. Because in Nigeria, elephant can fly. And we know how to release our leader. We know where and what to do, and we're working on it. From here, I will say, may God bless the Republic of Biafra. May God bless the Biafra government in exile and the entire cabinet. And I continue to promise Biafrans that in a matter of days, the Biafra government in exile and their cabinet will be addressing Biafra. I apologize that this particular address has taken a little bit while, but believe me, they are not idle. The Biafra government in exile is now issuing the letters to all Biafrans around the world free of charge. And this service they have been doing since we activated the Biafra government in exile. And we are working very, very hard to make sure that every mechanism is being put in place. I thank Umada of Biafra, being led by Honorable Charles Azuka Nwankwo, for their job. I want to thank the elders. I want to thank those, our spiritual leaders, our spiritual elders, our kings and Ezes, chiefs, who are working very, very hard secretly. I want to thank those who are committed financially in this liberation of Biafra. And I want to thank those who may change their mind today to join us to see that whatever that is needed for this liberation, that we have it ahead of time. We do not have time, and 126 days. So many people will be waiting to see how they are going to do it. But what is that the God of Biafra will always position the people that will do the right thing at the right time. We will continue to pray for our people back home. We will continue to pray for vulnerable women. We will continue to pray for those who have been affected by the flood that was deliberated or deliberately done to our people to make sure they weaken their zeal. We will continue to pray for the victim of the flood that is ravaging the southeast, and of course, the other part of BIAFRALAND. Our prayers are with you. And we continue to pray for the family of our leader and our leader himself. And we are hoping that one day, before this year ends, we are going to celebrate, and we have the cause to celebrate. If we do not celebrate this year, we are going to celebrate next year. We must keep the hope alive. And I call on all Biafrans to stay very strong. We are winning this war, and there is no two ways about it. We must be very strong. We must maintain our mental toughness. We must stand by the truth. We must be upright at all times and make sure that we don't lie against anybody. The time for propaganda and lies is over. If you have engaged yourself in lying against your brother before, you desist from it now, because Biafra is real. If you do not see it coming, you are going to see it coming in November 2022. From here, from me, I say good evening.
Quite a large number came from this part of the country, what used to be eastern Nigeria, and particularly many of the senior officers. Senior officers also came from other parts of the country, but from this side, because the people from here, from Biafra, that is the old eastern Nigeria, very go-ahead people, and a number of them had joined the army in the officer corps, and quite a lot of them were killed during the July program. And I myself, I'm not an Igbo man. I was to be killed also, and I just managed to escape. And a few of the officers escaped, but very many were killed. Those that were killed came from what was then eastern Nigeria. For instance, Major Rock, he's not an Igbo man, but he was killed. He was killed in Kaduna. Major Kanu was killed in Lagos, and he is not an Igbo man. And several others like that. I'm trying to say that the people, the officers killed, came not just from one tribe, but from the eastern Nigeria as it then was.
Yes.
And so there you are. It was lucky for those of us that escaped.
I september begynte nye store uroligheter I nord som følge.
And then also, may I inform Biafrans that tomorrow, being the 31st day of October 2022, is still our sit at home. The sit at home, I do not need to announce it differently, because the sit at home, our leader is not out yet. So the sit at home continues every Monday. And we are going to wait when a new sit at home order will be announced. Tomorrow, we continue to lock Biafra down as we continue to demand the unconditional release of Nnamdi Kanu. Good night.